latest happening making news in Liberia and elsewhere. It's Freedom News Basket, your companion for our information dissemination, only on Freedom FM 87.9 and www.freedomradioliberia.com. Freedom News Basket 45.
Incorporated. A pleasant good evening and welcome to this Friday, April 12, 2024 presentations of the program Freedom Even News Basket. These are 45-minute news presentations of the latest news from Liberia, Africa, and elsewhere. I'm Thomas Kojo presenting this weekend presentations of the news program, and these are top stories we carry this evening. Just 2 days after signing for the establishment of the War Economic Crown Court in Liberia, Senator Prince Johnson of Nema County expressed his dissatisfaction with the Liberian government push for the establishment of the court within the country. But Speaker Councillor Funati Kofa condemns President Joseph Boakai Asset Recovery Task Force labeling it as a significant failure due to its lack of accountability. Liberian football enthusiasts and organizers of the Save Liberia football protest, who are unhappy with the management of football in the country, outline plans routes for their upcoming protest against the Liberia Football Association this Saturday. And away from Liberia, authorities in Ethiopia have started returning migrants stranded within the oil-rich kingdom of Saudi Arabia by flying 842 of them on Friday. The details of these, including the bulletin of news, the voices of the newsmakers, are all coming up after Anthony Philip set the pace with the bulletin of news. A pleasant good evening to you, Anthony.
Good evening to you, Thomas Kojo Rolak, and good evening to everyone. Senator Prince Johnson of Nema County has expressed his dissatisfaction with the Liberian government's push for the establishment of a war and economic crimes court in the country. The senator, who was a former rebel leader, is one of 28 senators who recently signed the resolution to establish the court aimed at addressing the aftermath of Liberia's 14 years civil conflict that resulted in the loss of over 250,000 lives and properties. Senator Johnson, who has been vocal about his opposition to the establishment of the court, previously threatened not to commit himself to the court if the court establishment goes ahead. He has also claimed to have armed men ready to encounter anyone who tries to arrest him. In a recent interview with a local radio talk show in Nema County, Senator Johnson accused President Joseph Boakai of imposing the establishment of the War Crimes Court using the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's recommendations and paying people to get rid of him. Johnson expressed deep disappointment in President Boakai, announcing his immediate withdrawal of support from the United Party senatorial candidate Yan Tawen over the government's move to establish the court. The House Speaker of the 55th Legislature, Councillor Funati Kofa, has condemned President Boakai's Asset Recovery Task Force, labeling it as a significant failure due to its lack of accountability. In a radio interview simulcast on Thursday, April 11, Speaker Kofa strongly criticized the operations of the Asset Recovery Task Force appointed by President Boakai, expressing skepticism about its efficiency. He argued that the task force, comprised of individuals with semi-political affiliations, lacking independence in their judgment, and seemingly driven by political motives to target former officials based on past disagreement during the previous regime. Moreover, Speaker Kofa raised concerns about the task force reluctance to utilize existing audit reports from the General Auditing Commission, suggesting a hidden agenda to unfairly target former officials. This, he asserted, has hindered the task force effectiveness. In light of these issues, Speaker Kofa urged President Boakai to reconsider the composition of the task force, advocating for the inclusion of professionals rather than what he termed as semi-politicians with personal agendas. Notably, Chief Iman Ali Krayu also called for the reconstitution of the Asset Recovery Task Force, denouncing its current composition as inadequate. Iman Ali Krayu made this plea on Wednesday, April 10th, during the expression of gratitude to the Liberian Muslim community at the culmination of the Islamic holy month of Ramadan, where he emphasized the need for the task force to focus on retrieving stolen assets dating back to the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force was established by President Joseph Boakai under Executive Order number 124, that's 126, a meeting to address that's aimed at addressing issues related to asset recovery in Liberia. Councillor Edward Clark Martin, the former chairman of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, heads President Boakai's Asset Recovery Task Force. The lively body of an 18-year-old Jeniton Wega was discovered early this morning in the Fairground community in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. According to reports from Ablij TV, the deceased followed his friends to sleep during the night hours of Thursday, April 11, but was found dead on the bed the following morning. The Crime Services Division of the Liberia National Police in Buchanan has assembled a 15-man jury to examine Jeniton Wega's body. Dr. Joseph Zondo of the Liberia Government Hospital was unable to determine the cause of death and has recommended an autopsy. Eyewitnesses recounted that the deceased and his friends attended a program at Basel High School on Wednesday before returning to a room where they all slept together. Liberian football enthusiasts and organizers of the Safe Liberia Football March, who are unhappy with the management of football in the country, have outlined their planned routes for their upcoming protest. The highly anticipated peaceful demonstration is set for Saturday, April 13, 2024, starting from the main street of Tottenham Boulevard to the headquarters of the Liberia Football Association at 8 a.m. when stakeholders of the country's football governing body will be gearing up for the institution under the Congress on tomorrow. During a press conference recently, Udu Miller, leader of the protest, outlined the routes designated for the demonstration. According to him, 300 of the 500 men expected to join the protest will be stationed at the LFA headquarters in the Swakamo community, while additional 200 will be placed along the 72nd Road and the Tottenham Boulevard to draw the attention of football lovers to the expected protest. According to Miller, the primary objective of the protest is to urge football authorities to address concerns regarding the administration of the sport, implement necessary reforms for its advancement, and for President Mustafa Raji to resign as head of the Football Association. Liberia's national team, the Lone Star, has faced disappointing performances in recent African Cup of Nations and World Cup qualifiers, with just one victory in the country's last 8 games. Udu Miller has been leading protests against the local football house since November 2023 due to what he described as the alleged downward state of Liberia's senior national team, the Lone Star performance. He has been attributing the continuous decline of the Lone Star to the insensitivity of the Mustafa Raji-led administration to make decisive decisions that would alleviate the technical management as to elevate the technical management of the national team and improve the Liberian National League. The mayor of Monrovia, John Siafa, has come under fire for a comment he made towards the youth of the ruling Unity Party. He stated that he is not obligated to provide job opportunities to either Unity Party or its youth. This comment has been interpreted as the mayor distancing himself from the youth and partisans and his unwillingness to help them. The Unity Party's youth chairperson on that's in Montserrado County, Sylvester Wemplu, posted a Facebook reaction criticizing the mayor's comment. He stated that the mayor's decision to distance himself from the youth and partisan was unfortunate. Wemplu reminded the mayor that he was lucky to have been nominated by President Joseph Boakai to serve as the mayor of Monrovia. Wemplu added that although they do not have any problem with the mayor, that's the mayor's decision, they are praying for him to succeed. They are praying for him to succeed. However, he warned the mayor that if he called on the youth or the young people for support in the future, they may not be willing to provide it since he has distanced himself from them. The Liberia National Police has concluded its investigation on the recent incident that led to the death of 3 persons in Kinjor, Grand Cape Mount County. Recently, 3 individuals lost their lives in Grand Cape Mount County following a massive protest by citizens calling for the closure of B Mountain Mining Company. During the protest, 3 individuals were allegedly killed by the Liberia National Police and several others were injured in the incident. Addressing a press conference at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police Thursday in Monrovia, Police Inspector General Colonel Gregory Coleman said the LNP has concluded its investigation and submitted it to the Ministry of Justice. According to the LNP Inspector General, the Ministry of Justice will forward the investigative report to the Civilian Inquiry Committee for further investigation and recommendations where necessary. However, Colonel Coleman expressed regret over the death of the 3 individuals and others who were injured during the incident. The Police Inspector General also urged police officers who are carrying firearms to be responsible and ethical in dealing with peaceful citizens during protests, while calling for more training for those who are firearms carriers. Public Works Minister Roden Lafayette has accused the Ministry of Public Works under the Coalition for Democratic Change of selling equipment left to the country by the Chinese contingent after the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Liberia. In his statement at the Ministry of Information regular press briefing, the Public Works Minister accused the ministry of selling the equipment without the involvement of the GSA and working with non-employees at the ministry, among others. In his disclosure, Minister Lafayette explained that there were up to 79 persons working at the ministry as volunteers without any form of document to show how they were being compensated, something he said led his team to dismiss them. He further called on past officials of the ministry to turn over the government assets in their possession or risk being publicly embarrassed. Lafayette added that his administration will ensure that all government assets are retrieved, including the equipment that were allegedly sold by his predecessor. The Center for Conflict Prevention and Peace Building has begun a 2-day stakeholder post-election reconciliation dialogue in Bambala Town, Grand Cape Mount County. According to the executive director of CPAT, Charles Crawford, among other things, the dialogue will focus on issues that created conflict during the 2023 general and presidential elections in the district. Crawford further that the dialogue We'll also discuss elections-related conflict, methodologies, and reconciliation strategies for sustainable peace or coexistence among citizens regardless of political differences, cultural practice, and gender. Also speaking, the district chair lady, Madam Masa Kambo, vowed to unite the women of the district aimed at supporting peace in the district, the county, and the country at large. She, however, appealed to CPAT Executive Director Charles Crawford to revisit the district, the county, and the local authorities of the district to form part of the meeting. For his part, one of the youth in Popa district who attended the dialogue, Aliyu Masakwe, used the medium to call on young people of the area to put aside their political differences and work together for the good of the district and the country. He acknowledged that political conflicts in the district are usually led by the youth who, according to him, allow politicians to disunite the citizens in the district. Masakwe disclosed that peace will come to Popa district if the youth of the area agree to resolve their differences and work in the interest of their district. A prominent figure of Liberia, Smith Nuba, has predicted the loss of many lives due to the excessive speed of Western Cluster iron ore trucks operations in the government if the government fail to institute measures to prevent such. Operating as an iron ore mining concession, the Western Cluster Mining Company has hundreds of heavy-duty trucks along the F along with earth-moving equipment to transport the iron ore to the free port of Monrovia through the Bomi Monrovia corridor. The company and the Liberian government agreed to truck the materials during the night hours, specifically beginning at 7 p.m. for the protection of lives and properties along the route. But speaking to the press Thursday on the Bourgeois Island, Nuba opposed the agreed time, terming it as too early, thus proposing a new time at least 1 a.m., adding that the corridor is normally free for the trucks to move. He believed if the national government does not make a quick intervention given his recommendation and urgent consideration, there could be major casualties, including the damaging of properties by those heavy-duty trucks. Meanwhile, Smith Nuba has extolled the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Colonel Gregory Coleman, and his team for regulating the smooth flow of traffic from Vartown to Douala on the Bourgeois Island and urged the LNP to continue on such path. And the former president of the Liberia Council of Churches, Bishop Cotto Brown, has lauded the Liberian Senate for the signing of a resolution calling for the establishment of a war and economic crimes court in the country. According to him, the actions of both houses show that they are ready to put the country on path with it when it comes to the rule of law that will allow individuals who committed crimes during the Civil War to have their day in court. The general overseer of the New Water in the Desert Apostolic Pentecostal Church noted that the lawmakers need to demonstrate more approach that will help address some of the issues that's confronting the citizens across the country. Bishop Cotto Brown is also appealing to the national legislature to use the same method to resolve the issue of civil servants and public indiscipline being perpetrated by some government officials and citizens that is undermining the country's peace and lack of disrespect for others. The LCC former president spoke to journalists Wednesday in Monrovia. Well, Thomas Kojo, that's the news. Bulletin is back to you for the continuation of Freedom News.
I'm Tony Phillips, and the Bulletin of News is a regular featured here on Freedom Even News Basket. If you just joined us, you are listening to the weekend's presentations of the program, Freedom Even News Basket, or 45 minutes of captivating news from Liberia and elsewhere. In one of the top stories we're carrying this evening, Liberian football enthusiasts and organizers of the Save Liberia football protest who are unhappy with the management of football in the country outline playing routes for their upcoming protest against the Liberia Football Associations this Saturday. And I bring you the voices of those behind the news. The Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, Councillor Funati Kofa, has condemned President Joseph Boakai Assets Recovery Task Force, labeling it as a significant failure due to its lack of accountability. In a radio interview that was simulcast across the country on Thursday, Speaker Kofa strongly criticized the operation of the Asset Recovery Task Force appointed by President Joseph Boakai, expressing skepticism about its efficiencies.
First, we welcome the President's executive order forming the Asset Recovery Team because I think it's part of the accountability process. I think it's an anti-corruption measure. Sadly, the Asset Recovery Team turned itself into a witch hunt organization, right? You can see by recent posture in court, they got a slap in the face when they attempted to appropriate private property that belonged to a former government official in Skinabono under this guise of asset recovery. I would advise anyone, and even the team, to read April 24 commentary in Front Page Africa by Rufus Berry. It's a primer in how to conduct asset recovery. Asset recovery should not be my main economic freedom fighter going out there on the street and lining up somebody's private property and they keep connecting them in the name of asset. I mean, that's just a joke. Okay? And the court, it's not that bad. There are processes that should happen. The first thing I think the president was ill-advised to limit the period of asset recovery. Okay? Then that means really go after only one group of people, one administration. And that is not correct. There is this theory about, oh, we did it because we wanted to limit it to the statute of limitations. Those are good lawyers over there. The president legal advisor is a good lawyer. Councilor Martin is a good lawyer. Oh, when it says statute of limitations, because statute of limitations begins when you discover the act. Okay. So you have time. It should be an open-ended recovery process. But more than that, I think I would advise the president and advise the legal advisor to go back and readdress the asset recovery regime and put it into a more professional standard.
He's the Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, Councillor Funati Kofa, delivering the asset recovery team set up by President Joseph Boakai as a significant failure due to its lack of accountability. Following weeks of investigation launched into the situation that led to the death of 3 persons in Grand Kitmon County, the Liberian National Police has concluded its investigation into the incident. Recently, there were 3 individuals that lost their lives in Grand Kitmon County following a massive protest that was staged at the Bay Mountain Mining Company site. During a press conference on Thursday, the Liberian National Police Inspector General Colonel Gregory Kudman said they have concluded their investigation and submitted it to the Ministry of Justice.
A few pieces of information I would like to officially release to the public because there are concerns surrounding these things, and we're duty bound as law enforcement practitioners to communicate and relate to the people we serve. We have no other duty but to continue to serve the people. As it relates to the issue in Kinjo, which is one of the pressing matters at hand, is the investigation from in 2 different companies. One has to do with the criminal investigation, and the other has to do with the officer involved shooting. We are most concerned with the officers involved shooting because it resulted into bodily injury and death of 3 of our citizens. So immediately we constituted the team went there, spoke with all of the officers, spoke with residents of the community, and they compiled a report, and that report has been forwarded to the Ministry of Justice. We have recommended in that report that the Minister of Justice forwards the report for further probe to the Civilian Oversight Complaint Board, which has civil oversight of the Liberia National Police. just to increase our level of accountability. We are a party to this particular investigation, even though we are the official body responsible for investigation in the country. But we are now delegating our responsibility to the civil oversight body for a second.
At the same time, Colonel Greco Como has expressed regret over the death of 3 individuals who died in the situation that took place in Grand Kitman County and Doxson who got injured.
We're looking at increasing our presence all over. We're deploying very smart technologies, looking at deploying smart technologies. The challenges are there, challenges will always be there, but we'll always find a way to work around it. Very limited at this point in time with the number of vehicles we have for operation and motorcycle. But I'm pleased to announce to you that we have gotten the first generation of 20 used vehicles are being shipped as we speak through Liberia. We expect them to be here within the period of 30 to 45 days. In addition to that, the economic management team and the economic management team and the debt management team as well have also accepted a proposal from a group called Bloodshot. Bloodshot proposed that
He is the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Colonel Greco Como. They are expressing regret over the death of 3 individuals in the situation that took place within Grand Kitman County. Earlier on, he disclosed the conclusions of an investigation launched by the Liberian National Police. Stakeholders of the Liberia Football Association are expected to gather this Saturday at the headquarters of the Football Association in Swakamo community for its ordinary congress. For Liberian football enthusiasts and organizer of the Save Liberia Football March, who are unhappy with the management of football in the country, have outlined plans for their upcoming protests. The highly anticipated peaceful demonstration is set for Saturday, April 13, starting from the main street of Totman Boulevard to the headquarters of the Liberia Football Association by 8 a.m., when stakeholders will be gearing up for the Football Association Ordinary Congress. During a press conference held recently, Judy Miller, the leader of the protest, outlined the routes designated for the demonstration. According to him, 300 of the 500 men expected to join the protest will be stationed at the Liberia Football Association headquarters in the Swakamo community, while additional 200 will be placed along the 72nd Row and Tottenham Boulevard to draw the attention of football lovers to the expected protests.
I just want to inform the Liberian people and those of you that are close to football, lovers, this is a march called March to Save Liberia Football. This is not only unique to Liberia. A lot of countries have done the same. Ghana just did. And believe me, I on record for this. This will be very peaceful and at the LFA headquarters to say, can you save our football? And we'll be asking the president of the FA to resign since he's not doing well. And there are a lot of things that will be written on our flyers, banners. And tomorrow we are expecting not less than 500 persons. There's a 300 persons will come from the EAWA SAR to where they facing the road, marching straight to the LFA headquarters in the Swakamo community there. Then 200 persons should be coming from Boulevard SAR, marching straight to the LFA headquarters. These guys, ladies, and whatsoever, they are from various part of Liberia who are very concerned about the fun and manner in which our football is going and decide to join me. And the protest will also be on the 30th. We are changing to the 13th. And tomorrow will be Congress. So we'll be there with those that can make decisions from football. And we all will discuss. We'll have a petition will be read by me, the leader of this protest. And there are so many counts. And so tomorrow you can come and form part of it. You don't have to worry. There will be no violence. There will be no fun of violence. Everything will be peaceful and we'll be there with water. We will drink. We will share fun. We will just have one goal is to save our football.
Yudu Miller is a Liberian football advocate and the lead campaigner, leading aggrieved Liberian football enthusiasts and organizers of a protest under the banner Save Liberia Football March, who are unhappy with the management of football in the country by the administrations of Mustafa Raji as president of the Liberia Football Association. With the time check, we're going to have our Pastor Mark in the news. If you're just joining us, you are listening to the weekend presentations of the program Freedom Even News Basket. These are 45-minute news presentations that bring you captivating stories from Liberia and elsewhere. And these are top stories we're carrying this evening. just 2 days after signing for the establishment of the War Economic Crime Code within Liberia. Nima County Senator Prince Johnson expresses dissatisfaction with the Liberian government push for the establishment of the code. House Speaker, Councillor Fonati Kofa, condemns President Joseph Boakai as a recovery task force, labeling it as a significant failure due to its lack of accountability. Liberian football enthusiasts and organizers of the Save Liberia football protests who are unhappy with the management of football in the country outline playing routes for their upcoming protest against the Liberia Football Association this Saturday. And away from Liberia, authorities in Ethiopia have started returning migrants stranded within the oil-rich Kingdom of Saudi Arabia by flying 842 of them on Friday. We're taking a break. We'll come back. We'll continue the news program. Many thanks for joining us. Public Works Minister Rodian Guinea has accused the Ministry of Public Works on the government of the Coalition for Democratic Change of selling equipment left to the country by the Chinese contingent after United Nations peacekeeping mission left Liberia. In a statement at the Ministry of Information press briefing, the Public Works Minister accused the Ministry of selling equipment without the involvement of GSA and working of non-employees at the ministry and among others. In his disclosure, Minister Guinea explained that there were up to 79 persons working at the ministry as volunteers without any form of document to show how they were being compensated, something he said has led them to be dismissed.
With the GSA and also after recovery. Most of those vehicles that were assigned to the Ministry of Public Works, we have some of the former deputy ministers and assistant ministers who took vehicles away, and we were able to retrieve just one out of many vehicles that have been taken away. We've sent that record to the GSA, also the asset recovery. We're talking to them because for me, I think it's unacceptable. You can serve as a government official, and when you're leaving, if you do not properly, acquire the vehicle and you take it. I'm one of those who also believe the policy that says that you should have the vehicle for 3 years. A brand new vehicle is unacceptable. And I think I mentioned that once to the president that we need to address it. We can buy a vehicle brand new and it says for 3 years. It doesn't make sense to me. We have to change that because then people just buy a vehicle and wait for 3 years and want to take it. And sometimes they're not even taking it the right way. That is why we have the issue with vehicles now. And we're going after those who took the vehicle. So you're in River Land, wherever you are, your name on that list. Watch out. We'll get the vehicles because it's not yours. If you did not acquire them properly, we'll have to get it. There are ministers and assistant ministers at the Ministry of Public Works, deputy ministers who do not have vehicles, and they can be a public official now and do that. There are a lot of demand on the budget. You need to return the vehicle. So this is an open appeal to those who got the vehicle. Just bring it back. If you don't do that, we have to embarrass you. We'll do that. So that is on access. Besides that, the Chinese contingent, unmanned contingent, when they were leaving after the UN peace mission ended, they turned over to the Ministry of Public Works when I was deputy minister, batch of equipment, motor grader, front end loader, just all the equipment you can think about. Those set of equipment left with the Ministry of Public Works was there when we left in 2017 when I was deputy minister, when the election got done. The last administration sold all those pieces of equipment without going to the GSA. They sold every piece. We have that on the records and the names of those who are responsible attached to that. So the asset recovery team and GSA, definitely John Lee, will go after them for that. Personnel, of course, 560 some.
His Liberia Public Works Minister Roland Lavia again in there accusing the Ministry of Public Works on the past leadership of the Coalition for Democratic Change of selling equipment left to the country by the Chinese contingent. Meanwhile, our effort to get in contact with the past leadership of the Ministry of Public Works did not materialize as we kept calling up the press time. Fundings from Integrity Watch Liberia has revealed a total of over $15 million that is being generated annually by seven of the several sand mining and quarry industries at the detriment of the country without benefit for its citizens. Presenting the funding along with recommendations to the upper Wednesday at the Capitol building in Monrovia, the executive director of Integrity Watch Liberia, Herado, said the latest funding show his institution comprehensive studies on the sand mining and quarry industries within the country.
We are here to inform you that since 2012 up to 2023, we have given up to $133.7 million waivers in tax incentives and 116 million between 2015 and 2016 respectively. These tax incentives that we have given averages 30% of our revenue and 6% of our GDP. Our research also shown that normally when we give these tax incentives, there is an assumption that it will help to create jobs, it will help to grow the local economy and so forth. Our research shows that none of these incentives have been able to accrue the jobs that we all aspire for and also to grow the local economy. It has not been so. Again, we've not also been able to properly monitor the incentives that we give, because the incentives are given that it will bring some dividends back to the country. We have not also been able to obtain that dividends. The extractive sector, primarily mining, accounts for a significant portion of tax expenditures.
Receiving the funding from Integrity Watch Liberia, the chair of the African Parliamentarian Network on Illicit Financial Flow and Taxation, Senator Francis Dobo, lauded Integrity Watch Liberia for what he termed as excellent research done by the institution.
Today again, we have a study. We hope and pray that our partners will provide us support. We are hoping that indeed we can have this legislation on the expropriation repatriation. As you know, our gold, diamond, iron are so out there, but the money stay out there. They are so in U.S. currency. They are so out there. They're not repatriated to Liberia. So the FX, problem with Liberia is part of that, because it's almost like a double capital flight. We give the guy the incentive. They go out there, they sell our gold and diamond. The only repatriate they want to pay salaries. Then they bring in things that get duty free. That double capital flight. So we believe that indeed, working together as a caucus, we'll be able to champion that process. Incentive is not bad. Let us not be misconstrued to the public. Incentive is not bad, but it's an intent to incentive. It's a trade-off. Okay, so whatever you are going to trade out there, if it is not equal to or less.
The Center for Conflict and Prevention, and Peace Building has ended a 2-day stakeholder post-election reconciliation dialogue in Bambalatan, Grand Kidman County. According to the Executive Director, Charles Crawford, among other things, the dialogue discussed issues that was created during the 2023 general and presidential election.
You want to tell the lady about the subject? What is your opinion now? I said, benefit you? And then I said, you didn't say a book. You don't know. I said, we are hotspot area. Do you think if this is something this and this, investors that come in and you this money, you not just decide that? Then I come to your system. Then I put aside. You go on this. Then I know together. You want to do it for you. I'll see what you for. I do want to do it. Then I come together. And the president home there. Everybody want anything. Everybody want to deliver the president. One president is something about for you. Well, how are they going for or for it? I'll send the city to the up. If the city put that, go to so do you want to go somewhere and don't identify yourself with your state?
He's the Executive Director of Gubon and the Banner, the Center for Conflict Prevention and Peace Building, that is speaking when the institution ended a 2-day stakeholder post-election reconciliation dialogue in Bambalatan, Grand Kidman County. The former president of the Liberia Council of Churches, Bishop Cotto Brown, has lauded the Liberian Senate for signing a resolution calling for the establishment of war and economic crime code within the country. According to him, the action of both houses shows that they are ready to put the country on par when it comes to the rule of law that will make individuals who committed crimes during the Liberian civil crisis of 14 years to go to court. We sincerely apologize. We can lay our hands on the clip. A prominent figure of Liberia, Smith Nangba, has predicted the loss of many lives due to the excessive speed of Western Cluster's iron ore truck operator if the government fails to institute measures to prevent such from happening. Operating as an iron ore mining concession, the Western Cluster Mining Company had hundreds of heavy-duty trucks and, along with earth-moving equipment, to transport iron ore to the Freeport of Monrovia through the bombing Monrovia corridor. The equipment, according to him, the company and the Liberian government agreed to truck the minerals during the night hours, specifically beginning from 7 p.m. for the protection of lives and properties along the route.
The trucks from Western Cluster, if nothing is done, they're going to cause a major disaster or casualty within the 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 Port River Belt to Freeport. I believe if they want to transport the iron ore by trucks, they can start moving, let's say by 11 p.m. to 12, 12, like 1 a.m. in the morning. By that time, the street is clear. But you cannot look at people coming from work, people, parents are in keke, in car, breadwinners, they are going home, and then you are allowing those heavy trucks to be on excessive speed, moving among people. That those iron ore bring in revenues for the government, but at least there is some procedure they need to take to restrict those guys from causing major disaster. As early as 7 p.m. to 8 o'clock, when you are coming from work, those are all go and do business to time, and you are returning. You see those huge trucks running on heavy speed, and sometimes you will see the other one.
He's a permanent Liberian figure, Smith Nangba, there predating the laws of many lives due to the excessive speed of Western Cluster iron ore trucks operated if the government fails to institute measures to prevent such from happening. Meanwhile, Smith also has told the Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, Colonel Greco Kotma, and his team to regulate the smooth traffic between Vartan and Douala on the Bushel Island. He urged the Liberian National Police to continue on such path for the good of citizens.
The National Police, they are doing their best, because when it comes to people currently, those people that are selling on the street, before then, I used to take before I go on the street, even to pass Douala with my car, I never used to use it, but now you can pass Douala freely, or the police have, make the market here to make way, that car can pass, pedestrian can walk freely. They are not selling along the road. They are doing the best in that area. I believe that it should not only be, restricting only the market here. They should also restrict those cars, those trucks that are running excessively, trying to take the left of peaceful citizens. They should also make the government concern, also the National Police. So once again, I want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the police director, Gregor Como, and his team. I believe that they are all...
Smith Nangba is a permanent Liberian figure there, installing the Inspector General of the Liberian National Police and his team, Colonel Greco Kotman, for regulating the smooth flow of traffic between Vartan and Douala on the Bushel Island. He's taking us back to Anthony Phillips for the foreign news.
Authorities in Ethiopia have started returning migrants stranded in the oil-rich kingdom of Saudi Arabia by flying 842 of them on Friday. The goal of this program's third phase is to return 70,000 people in 4 months by operating 12 flights per week. The government says they were in difficult condition, as most are undocumented and have been languishing in prisons and detention centers in the country. However, the risk of them returning to Saudi Arabia is also high, as thousands travel each year seeking better living conditions. Earlier this week, 38 Ethiopian migrants, including children, died in a shipwreck off the Djibouti coast, Ethiopia officials said. It is thought that they could have been on their way to Saudi Arabia. The kingdom hosts about 750,000 Ethiopian migrants, more than half of whom are believed to have entered the territory illegally, according to a report.
Many thanks to Anthony Phillips for reading us the foreign news. He's taking us home on this week's presentations of the program, Freedom Evening News Basket. But before we leave you, a recap of top stories we've been following on the news program. Just 2 days after signing for the establishment of the War Economic Crime Code within Liberia, Nima County Senator Prince Johnson expresses dissatisfaction with the Liberian government push for the establishment of the code. House Speaker Councilor Funati Kofa condemns President Joseph Boakai as a recovery task force, labeling it as a significant failure due to its lack of accountability. Liberian football enthusiasts and organizers of the Save Liberia football match who are unhappy with the management of football in the country outlined playing rules for their upcoming protests against the Liberia Football Association this Saturday. And away from Liberia, authorities in Ethiopia have started returning migrants stranded in the oil-rich kingdom of Saudi Arabia by flying 842 of them on Friday. We'd love to say many thanks to all of our writers, correspondents, and editors who have been making today's presentations of the news program resources. Anthony Phillips was here with the bulletin of news and the foreign news. Anil Talo, Sarah Control, coordinator, the sound system. Dua Cruzo sat behind the camera. I'm Thomas Rollak. I presented the weekend's presentation. Have yourself a very pleasant Friday evening from the nation's capital, Monrovia.